Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Kunja Bihari Jai Gopija Girivardhari Jai Gopija Girivardhari Yashodhan Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Rama Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare भक्ति वेदांता स्वामी शिला प्रभुपाद की जय। गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। गौर प्रेमानंदे ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वापदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरोन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादां सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चना गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांता स्वामी निधि नामिने वे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। कृष्ण भक्त निष्कामा अतः एव शांता भुक्ति मुक्ति सिद्धि कामी शकलया shanta. So Krishna Bhakta is described as Nishkam. Nishkam means he has no material desire. And that's why Ata Eva Shanta. Eva means certainly. And that's why he is always peaceful. Because he has no material desire. Bhukti Mukti Siddhi Kami Shakalya Shanta. And whoever desires Bhukti is sense gratification, similar to Kami. Mukti and Siddhi we know. Mukti is liberation and Siddhi is mystical powers. Anybody who wants anything, he will Sakalya Shanta means he'll always be in anxiety. Because a devotee of Lord Krishna is desireless, he is peaceful. Fruitive workers desire material enjoyment. Jnanis desire liberation, and yogis desire material opulence. Therefore, they are all lusty and cannot be peaceful. Clear? Theoretically, yes. The devotee of Lord Krishna has no desire other than serving Krishna. Even so called liberated people are full of desires. Fruitive actors desire better living accommodations. Jnanis want to be one with the Supreme. Yogis desire material opulence, yogic perfection, and magic. All of these non devotees are lusty kami because they desire something they cannot have peace. So, what does a karmi desire? Better food, some opulence, some respect. What does Jnani desire? They don't want all those things. What do they want? They want to merge into God. And what does the yogis want? They neither want to merge into God, they neither want all these things. They want siddhis. Have you heard about different kind of siddhis? And what are those? Do you know any one name? Huh? Do you know what anima means? And lagima? And then what are the other?
I heard they go from here to some other place.
They can do that by catching a ray of a sun. Then there is something called prapti. They can attain anything they want. They can extend the to Indian mangoes and get it. And then there is prapta kamya. There are there are nine. And you know how do they attain them? Anybody is interested in any of those these? इतना सुना है कि अभी तो इच्छा नहीं है पर मिल जाए तो अच्छा है कोई बात नहीं. So how to attain them? This question is asked by Uddhava to Krishna in 11th canto. How to attain these siddhis? And tell me about primary siddhis and secondary siddhis. Secondary siddhis are these are primary. Secondary siddhi means you can know what is going on in anybody's mind. Or there are many siddhis these yogis can attain, like levitation. This is secondary siddhi people can attain, and they are primary siddhis. So they're very attractive. Common people are attracted to those things. So Uddhava asks, how do we attain these siddhis? And then the answer is in remembrance of the Lord. You remember the different aspect of the Lord and you attain that siddhi because the Lord has all the siddhis in full. That's why Krishna is called by the name Yogeshwara. He has all the siddhis. Just like anything you want comes from Krishna. Any desire you have. So a particular way you have to worship Krishna, then you get a particular thing from Krishna. But everything comes from Krishna. And Hanuman is also called as Nav Siddhi ke Data bolte hain. So he has all the nine siddhis in full. Why? Because his pure devotion to lotus feet of Lord Ram. That's why. But those who want those things, they're always in anxiety. Why they're in anxiety? Why they're not peaceful? Because you are trying to get something. But what does a devotee want? Does he want anything? What does he want? I mean, not us, but devotees. What do they want? They said, my Lord, what can I do for you? They don't want from the Lord, this is what I want from you. They said, what can I do for you? Bhakti means, what can I do for you? And Kami means, what can you do for me? Is lust and love, right? Love is selfless, and lust is what we get from ourselves for ourselves. So, because a devotee is nishkama, without kama, he is ata eva shanta. Anybody who is peaceful? You all want something? I also want a lot of things. I mean, our state is more like desires are there, but then we don't ask for it. Is that correct? Desires are there, but you're like Krishna. When the desire comes, we say, Krishna, I don't want this. Then something, Krishna, please remove this desire, remove this desire. So you want desire to go away, but the taste is there. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, what is the verse? Vinivartante niraharasya dehinam raso varjam raso apiyasya param deshra nivartate. So raso varjam raso apiyasya. They give up. Varjam means they give up. Raso varjam raso apiyasya. But the ras to hai, but they give up. Why? Param deshra nivartate. Because they want something. That's why they don't want this thing because they know if I get entangled in this, that won't come. They're like, no, 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 that only what I want. And that's how they become nishkama. That's why we don't want to become pure devotees. We want to become, I mean, if pure devotee we become, that's very nice. But we want to become sincere. What the sincere means, we are not uh, trying for them. And then when such desires are there, we condemn ourselves. Why is there? And then when it comes to asking something from Krishna, Krishna, please engage me in your service. We only want service. Becoming desireless. Yes, please.
The peace formula is given by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita 5.11.
Together. Bhoktaram yagya tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suhridam sarvabhutanam gyatva mak shantim richati.
One who simply understands that throughout the entire universe, Krishna is the supreme enjoyer and beneficiary of all kinds of sacrifice, finances, and austerities, which should be performed only to attain his devotional service. That Krishna is the supreme being and thus the proprietor of all material world. And the Krishna is the only friend who can actually do goods to all living entities.
Suhridam.
From Sarva Bhutanam. And one who understands these principles about Krishna immediately becomes desirous, Nishtama, and therefore peaceful.
So, do we all want to enjoy? There is something that we want to enjoy. Right? There is something we look for. It's like um, something that captures our mind, and then something else captures our attachment. Like if you notice in our own mind, our attachment goes from one object to another object to another object, but it's always shifting. How people become detached in this world? By becoming attached to something else in this world. Correct? Like we see in our Western devotees, we see when there is a breakup, then they are very miserable. But when they have another relationship, then they can give up the previous relationship. It's like that's how. So the object changes, but when you are attached to something else, that something maybe for some people it may be a position, for some people it may be wealth, for some people it may be something. Dharam Jaram Sundaram is there. So when you are attached, when you are, everybody is working towards something. When they're not working towards that thing, then something else has captured their mind. There's always one thing that everybody is trying to run behind, run behind, run behind. And that's why Prabhupada says that detachment is not possible. But when that one thing that we are trying to run behind is Krishna, then we give this up. No, we get something else, some other desire, and we feel this very nice. Then only we can give up something else. And that if that one thing becomes Krishna, then you are good. But unfortunately, we have no taste in Krishna. Am I correct? We have no attraction to either the name of Krishna or form of Krishna. How we are attracted to so many forms, but anybody attracted to form of Krishna? Once in a while, we try to tell ourselves, yeah, Krishna is very beautiful, but we don't realize his beauty. That's why we are attracted to other beauties. We haven't realized Krishna. I was thinking, if at all we get, that's why it is said only by Krishna's mercy we can become attracted to Krishna. Krishna is all attractive, but we don't understand. Everything is coming from Krishna, but still we are attracted to his vibhutis, his opulences, and not to Krishna himself because we don't realize him. And what does it mean? Bhoktaram yagya tapasam. He's the enjoyment. Anything, it is meant for Krishna's enjoyment. And what we try to do is, we try to become the enjoyer. And then the heart is in anxiety. But when we just think that everything is, whatever we are attached, is meant for Krishna's enjoyment, then, then we'll be okay. Our role is that of a servant. Our role is not of an enjoyer. And Krishna says, one who realizes that, one who practices that, well, this is meant for Krishna's enjoyment, this is also meant for Krishna's enjoyment. Everything is meant for Krishna's enjoyment. I am only a servant of Krishna. Then we'll be peaceful. But our desires are how many? Bahushakanantash. That is the most applicable for us. वैसे आदमी का बुद्धि is for pure devotees. For us, बहुशाखानंतश्च. बुद्धय व्यवसायी नाम. अव्यवसायी, our buddhi, अव्यवसायी buddhi. Yes.
The Krishna Bhakta knows that his friend and the protector in all respects is Krishna, who is able to do anything for his devotee. Krishna says, Kaunteya Pratijya Chandihi Name Bhavar Bhakta Pranayasyati. O son of Kunti, declare it boldly that my devotee never perishes.
Never perishes, but sometime a devotee of Krishna may also perish. When can he perish? When Krishna wants him to perish. I mean, he may also fall down when he makes a mistake. And then that is also, he never perishes in a way that he may temporarily perish, but he will never perish in a way that ultimately Krishna will bring him or her back to him. But Krishna does punishes his devotees just so that the devotee does not do not this mistake, cross. He wants to put cross in everything we want to do, and that's our journey and everything that we are attached to. All right, good.
Since Krishna gives this assurance, the devotee lives in Krishna and has no desire for personal benefit. The background for the devotee is, is the all good himself. Why should the devotee aspire for something good for himself? His holy his only business is to please the Supreme by rendering as much service as possible.
That is only his business to please the Supreme by rendering as much service as possible. Yesterday, I was listening. Srila Prabhupada says in one of his lecture, Prabhupada was saying that um, it is very easy to see Krishna, and then he says anybody can see Krishna. You go to temple, you can see Krishna. That is not so nice. But when you go to temple, act in such a way that Krishna is eager. Oh, my devotee is coming. I want to see them. Prabhupada said that is great. Anybody can go and see. Oh, they're so nice. I'm so happy. But Krishna may be very disgusted by seeing us. Okay, he does nothing and then he can. Okay, but act in such a way, serve in such a way, develop your consciousness in such a way that Krishna waits to see you. And same principle is there for Guru also. Act in such a way that Guru is pleased to see you. You don't want to become like, uh, uh, that Guru is disgusted by seeing us. Act in such a way that Guru is pleased to see us. And, like we want them to, we want them to appreciate us. We don't want to be appreciated by, like, that's how we overcome that desire to be appreciated. We want them to appreciate us. That's what it means. Oh, this particular Das and this particular Devi Dasi, they are doing so much for me, and I'm very pleased with them. That is the real thing. Alright? It's very easy to say. It's very shallow to speak on this purport, but this coming from Srila Prabhupada. The devotees live in Krishna and has no desire for personal benefit. Such a high statement, actually.
The Krishna Bhakta has no desire for his own personal benefit. He is completely protected by the Supreme. Avashya, Rakshite, Krishna, Vishwasa, Paran.
A Krishna Bhakta has no desire for his own personal benefit, which verse applies to us very nicely in Bhagavad Gita. There is a verse called Mithyachari Sauchyate. Understood? Mithyachari Sauchyate. What is the meaning of that verse? Huh?
Pretender.
Outside he acts like a devotee, but inside he has many desires. But outside he is without desire. So that but still Krishna is very clear. Yes, Prabhu.
Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that he is desireless because Krishna will give him protection in all circumstances. It is not that he expects any assistance from Krishna. He simply depends on Krishna just as a child depends on his parents. The child does not know how to expect service from his parents, but he always protected, nevertheless. This is called niskam, desireless, desirelessness.
This remind me of like One example I see in my life is Kalakanta Prabhu. And I'm sure they're all pure devotees. They simply see the hand of Krishna in everything. Krishna has placed us in this particular situation. And whatever happens, they just see the hand of Krishna there. And they simply depend on Krishna. Okay.
About karmis, gnanis, yogis fulfill their desires by performing various activities. They are never satisfied. A karmi may work very hard to acquire $1 million, but as soon as he gets $1 million, he demands another million. For the karmis, there is no end of desire. The more the karmi gets, the more he desires.
It's same principle like Krishna says, lust only Arjuna. Same principle, putting fuel into the fire. Is any desire ever fulfilled? Is any desire is anybody ever become satisfied by fulfilling their desire? They are never ending problem. The only way is to give up that desire. That is the only way. By fulfilling, we will never be satisfied. Only by giving up that desire, we will be satisfied. We were discussing today, one devotee was reminding, we were discussing last week, Bhagavatam class, the false promises of Maya. False promises of Maya. Every promise made by Maya is false. What do you think? But we are not convinced about it. And that's why Prahlad Maharaj describes our situation as punha punas chal pracharvana. Is chewing what has already been chewed. Chewing again. Trying again. Maybe this time it will work. None did work. Miserable. This time. So this got false promise of Maya. She promises, see, this will be very nice. And then if we listen to her promises and if we run in that direction, our life will be screwed. That's what it is. So when Maya gives false promises, what do? Is we say no to Maya and we say yes to Krishna. Krishna, my life is for you. Give me no free time and keep me engaged in your loving service in such a way that I may please you. And we have to keep this is our another Mahamantra. Just have to keep reading Krishna. Please engage me in your service. Please engage me in your service. Why? Because Prabhupada says if you get release from the service of Krishna, then you will get engaged in service of Maya. But if you engage in service of Krishna, then you will get relief from service of Maya. And service of Maya is troublesome. False promises also because um, anybody who has tried to fulfill any of the promises by Maya, they're not happy. But we think, I'll be happy. That's what it is called punha punas, means again and again. Chewing, 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 chewing. So Prabhupada says that's how we should become desireless. And that's why a Krishna Bhakta is Nishkam. He does not desire anything. And if you're not practicing that, then we are adding fuel to the fire. And what is the result of that? It prolongs our journey in this material existence. If you're not working to become desireless, we are adding some lifetimes in this material. All right? Yes, Prabhu.
Jnanis cannot be desireless because their intelligence is unsound. They want to merge into the Brahman effulgence, but even though they may be raised to that platform, they cannot be satisfied there. There are many jnanis or sannyasis who, after taking sannyasa and giving up the world as paths, return to the world to engage in politics or philanthropy or to open schools and hospitals. This means that they couldn't attain the real Brahman Satya. They have to come down to the material platform to engage in philanthropic activity. Thus, they again cultivate desires. And when these desires are exhausted, they desire something different. Therefore, the Gnani cannot be Nishkama.
The only person who can become Nishkama? Huh? Yeah, one whose spiritual desires are fulfilled. Because unless we are fulfilled within, how can we become nishkam? But the thing is, our position is like neither here nor there. We don't want material life. We don't have inner fulfillment. Anybody who has inner fulfillment, please raise your hand. Maybe Madhav. No, not yet. You know? So when we are not inner fulfilled, then we will naturally try to fill the space somehow. But our journey is become content with not being fulfilled and keep and only thing we desire is Krishna, what can I do for you? And become satisfied with not being fulfilled and work towards just trying to serve Krishna. Actually, a devotee does not even want, even if a devotee is frustrated, how does he feel? I deserve. And he is content with dissatisfaction. He is miserable. Let me become more miserable. But keep me engaged in your service. So it doesn't. We want to become satisfied with all the dissatisfied state of consciousness. How can I serve you? And and Brahmaji says, for that person, liberation is his birthright. Means you have the right to go back to Godhead. For that person who in a dissatisfied state he thinks, grateful. Yadvag vapur bhir vidadam namaste jiveta yamukti pade sadaya. With his heart he pay obeisances. Maro. Or juta maro why? Because I deserve. I am eating my own poison. And then he continued rendering service. All right, everybody will follow this.
Often the yogis be desireless, for they desire yogic perfections in order to exhibit some magical feats and gain popularity. People gather around these yogis, and the yogis desire more and more adoration. Because they misuse their mystic powers, they fall down again to the material platform. It is not possible for them to become Nishkama.
See, when they desire, why they want mystical perfections? Because people gather around them and then they would do something and they would get adulation. But what happens then? Then they want more, something more. And then the problem with any success is when somebody else has the mystic power like them or better than them, then they become envious. All those. And Krishna also arranged in such a way that sometime they won't get respect and they'll be frustrated. So they can never be peaceful. They will always be frustrated. The other one is a yogi. That's why it's called Bhukti Mukti Siddhi Kami Sakalaya Shanta. Prabhupada says many people are looking for peace of mind. They come to temple for peace of mind. By coming to temple, you won't get peace of mind. You have to become Nishkama. Krishna Bhakta Nishkama Atayava Shanta Bhukti Mukti Siddhi Kami Sakalaya Shanta. This is one of the verses that Srila Prabhupada would very frequently quote. And this verse is spoken by whom to whom? Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Rupa Goswami. He's saying Rupa Goswami, this is the only way to become Ashanta. You have to become Nishkama Bhakta. Only desiring the service of the Lord. Then you will be peaceful.
The conclusion is that only the devotees who are simply satisfied in serving the Lord can actually become desireless. Therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says here, Krishna Bhakta Nishkama. Since the Krishna Bhakta, the devotee of Krishna is satisfied with Krishna, there is no possibility of falling.
Mm. मुक्तानामपि सिद्धानां नारायणापरायणा सुदुर्लभा प्रसादात्मा कोटिश अपि महामुने.
Millions of material liberated people who are free from ignorance and out of many millions of siddhas who have nearly attained perfection. There is hardly one pure devotee of Narayana. Only such a devotee is actually completely satisfied and peaceful.
See, this material world is a very one time me and Parsati Prabhu. You know Parsati Prabhu, I think everybody knows. So we went for book distribution. So we went to a hotel. Not that we went to hotel book distribution. In Grand Rapids now, there is a skywalk where you walk on the sky and it's all heated. And you go through various hotels and motels and banks, and it's a public skywalk. It's like 1 mile long. And then you have to go through everywhere. So we went to the this particular hotel, very very rich, filthy. You see any like glamorous everywhere, and there are these people who act very smart. They dress as like very high standard, cultured people, and with coat, tie, and suit. And um, Bro said, "No, we are feeling like we don't belong." Bro, we are like, dhoti kurtas, with tilak, and they are like, so, and all of these people, they're all offices, basically. So they're like this, and strong material energy, that everyone is trying to show off and show that, I dress and I speak, and, like cultured people, they're trying to show off. Then I was telling Prabhu this. I said, Prabhu, Krishna says, among those who are karmis, which are these people, they are running for their own material sense gratification. Among those who are karmis, higher is Jnani who have renounced all these things. Higher than Jnani is a yogi who has given up the path of Jnana also. Higher than yogi is a bhakta. And among millions who are actually liberated, one is a devotee of Krishna. So I said, Prabhu, your position is way higher than these people. Don't get bewildered by seeing what you see with your eyes. Because even the Gyanis have rejected all these things and they are looking for something. Because they have become frustrated from this. So, it's like, don't, like, don't. Otherwise, you will develop this desire. Next time, you'll become like. So, don't be attracted to the glamour of this material world. Among millions, hardly one become a Gyani. Krishna Mahaprabhu says previously, among millions of karmis, hardly one become wise, because otherwise it is dead, and then 8.4 million species, and dead, and then 8.4 million species. But the thing is, this nature of this word is, that's why it says asat sanga tyag ehi Vaishnavacha. Who is a Vaishnava who give up asat sang? This is all asat sang actually. What is sangha? Sangha does not mean that you have to um, eat prasad with them. Asatsang means if you are taking inspiration from anybody and that inspiration is not bhakti, you have taken the asatsang. If you have developed a desire by NSC association, you've taken the asatsang, then the Vaishnavism will go down. So here, this is Lord Shiva speaking, who is the biggest of all the yogis. And what is he telling? Mukta nam api siddha nam, narayana parayana, sudurlabha prasantatma, kotish api mahamune. Out of many millions of materially liberated people who are free from ignorance, and out of many millions of siddhas who have nearly attained perfection, there is hardly one pure devotee of Narayan. Karmis are gone long. Among those who have, among millions of materially liberated people, and among millions of siddhas, hardly one is a pure devotee of Narayan. That is said, Narayana Parayana. Kotish api Mahamuni. Among Mahamunis also, among kotis millions, crore, among kotishu api mahamune, hardly one may become Narayana Parayana. Only such a devotee is actually completely satisfied and peaceful. So how rare is Krishna Bhakta Nishkama? First Mahaprabhu says only that person is, and then Mahaprabhu says, And that is very rare. To become Krishna Bhakta Nishkama Ataiva Shanta, one who is always peaceful. One of the quality of Guru is always peaceful. Otherwise, for us, this material world is very attractive, right? Right? So many desires are there. Who was reading?
This verse is quoted from Srimad Bhagavatam. This was quoted from the Narayana Parayana, the devotee of Lord Narayana, is the only blissful person. And who becomes a Narayana Parayana is already liberated from material bondage. He already possesses all the perfection of the age. Unless one comes to the platform of Narayana Parayana and passes over the platform of the free, he cannot be fully satisfied. That is the pure way of concept.
Anytime we have material desires, you see lot of anxiety comes. Any material desire brings lot of anxiety. Just the nature of Bhukti Mukti Siddhi. And Mukti is also considered a material desire. Why? Because the purpose of Mukti is still my enjoyment and freedom from suffering from this world and my enjoyment in that world. So he is still connected, that Mukti is still connected to Bhukti, but not through senses, but in a spiritual way. But it is still my pleasure. So Bhukti Mukti Siddhi, everything is centered around myself. And Prem is centered around service. That's why we can never go back to Goloka. Anybody who wants to go back to Godhead? Nobody is raising. So many years initiated also. Go back to Godhead. Why do you want to go back to Godhead?
Yes, it's the misery.
Huh?
For me, to escape the misery.
Let's get the fancy water you have to go. Why? That's why you won't be able to go that way. है ना? But how can we? How many of you want to go back to Goloka, Vrindavan? How many of you want to go because it is very attractive? Nobody is attracted to Goloka Vrindavan. How many of you want to go to Goloka? First of all, how many of you want to go to Goloka Vrindavan? Really? Sure? Okay. How many of you want to go to Goloka to serve? Raise your hand full. How many want to go to Goloka to serve? Three are very intelligent people. है ना? And usually we are attracted to Goloka. That's why we think that is very nice place. But the purpose is my enjoyment. Correct. है ना? But if you want to go to Goloka to serve, then you will go. If your purpose to go there is not for yourself, just to render service, then you will go.
Srila Prabhupada told in every purpose our goal is to go.
Ah.
That's why thinking.
Yeah. So going back to serve, only they have the adhikar to go back. Others cannot go. If you just want to go and serve continuously,
The reason is,
day and night.
the reason is that by serving I am getting pleasure. Then what is happening?
Yeah, Prabhu. That second part will be natural, but you are looking for it, goes away. If your goal is only service, pleasure may come, misery may come. Not every time you will get pleasure in service. You can get misery in service also. See, serving is not always easy, right? Many times there are inconveniences also to render service. But if your still goal is only to serve and zero desire to enjoy, zero desire, you will go. If you have 1% desire to enjoy, then stay here. That's why the position. Everybody in Goloka we hear, right? Nectar of devotion. We'll hear again. Those who are joining will hear again that their gopis have zero desire to enjoy. And absolute desire is to serve. They are allowed. But this is so difficult. First, before we go there, with a zero desire to enjoy, only desire to serve. First, you have to act like that here. Correct, right? Krishna says, hey, you say, but you don't act on it. How do I trust you? How do I believe you? If you're looking for pleasure here, and then we say, there I will go only. It doesn't work like you have to show by your action, correct, right? Prabhuji? That I am willing only to render service. Then when Krishna sees, then Krishna is very pleased. Then what Krishna will do? Krishna will pull you there. Can you go back to Godhead by chanting 64 rounds? By doing 100 hours of service? You cannot go back to Godhead. There is no qualification. The only qualification is Krishna looks at you and Krishna is so attracted to you that Krishna wants you there. In other words, only by mercy of Krishna you can go back to Godhead. Cannot go back. Krishna doesn't want. Krishna does not want to serve you. Krishna wants to be served by you. You don't go there to receive service from Krishna. Like, "Arey, if I come, he'll be headache for me." Then I have to keep pleasing him only. But when somebody is very pleased, then Krishna is very pleased by the attitude of devotional service of that devotee. Now, cultivation is, are we trying to develop that? Are we trying to go in that direction of selfless service with pain or pleasure independent of myself? Just removing myself out of the picture and doing Krishna's work, doing Krishna's work, doing Krishna's work in such a way that Krishna is pleased that he is fully doing my work only for my sake. When Krishna is thoroughly pleased with you, then Krishna will reveal himself to you. Is there any other way? और कोई रास्ता नहीं है. Understood? That is what is called Krishna Bhakta Nishkam. Saka Sakaleva Shak Krishna Bhakta Nishkama Saka Eva Shanta Mukti Mukti Siddhi Kami Sakal या शांता कृष्ण भक्त निष्काम अत एव शांत सिद्धि भुक्ति मुक्ति सिद्धि कामी सकल या शांत. All that clear? I mean, theoretically we understand, but the journey is very, very long because the desire to enjoy is very deep rooted. You know why we hate suffering? Why we hate suffering? Huh? Because you want to enjoy. Correct, right? You want to enjoy, that's why we hate suffering. But if you don't like to enjoy, just think of the principle. But if you are okay serving the Lord in a suffering state, then you are nishkam actually. वो टेस्ट भी आएगा. वो टेस्ट भी आएगा. But Krishna will not give you the test that you cannot pass. In Krishna says you qualified for a particular test, like His Holiness Sadhana Swami Maharaj says, the test will keep on increasing. It will become tougher and tougher. And the test will continue till you qualify that test. So, not easy. Okay. Who is supposed to read? Yes. Yeah, okay. Together? अन्याभिलाषिता शून्यं ज्ञानकर्माद्यनावृतम् अनुकूलेन कृष्णानुशीलनं भक्तिरुत्तमा.
One to do that nothing that Krishna is not influenced by the process of jnana maharta, cultivation of knowledge. Actually, it becomes free from ignorance. A first-class person is one who is not influenced by karma or yoga. He simply depends on Krishna and is satisfied in his devotional service.
Very high state. Anaya Vilashita Shunya. Again, it's the same principle that a devotee has no Avilash, zero Avilash. He is free from any sort of karma or jnana or the results that come from it. He does only that thing that is favorable to Krishna, which basically means he only wants to serve Krishna just for the sake of Krishna. That's what's called Anukulina Krishna. No? Shilanam, he follows the great souls, and that bhakti one who performs is Uttam Bhakti. Only serving Krishna and only for the pleasure of Krishna. Everything. And that Uttam Bhakti will attract Krishna.
According to Srimad Bhagavatam, 6.17, Narayana Karma. Narayana Karma Sarveni Mukatsani Vidyati. Such a person is never afraid of facing. Never carry out the self.
Anybody afraid of hell?
We are in. Good release.
Good realization. That's great. So I wish to have the realization that you had. So I was telling we are in hell, he is telling. So anybody who is willing to go to hell, how is it that a person is not afraid of going to hell? Huh? Huh? They're not afraid. We experience hell in this life also. That is true. Kapila Muni says the hellish suffering is there in this planet also. But still, it says a devotee is not afraid of going to hell. This is Lord Shiva speaking. Such a person is never afraid of anything. For him, heaven and hell are the same. And he spoke this with respect to Chitraketu Maharaj curse. When Parvati cursed him, you become a demon. And he said, so he's not willing. So Lord Shiva says he is not willing to go to hell or hell. Why? Because in whatever state he is placed, he is engaged. He wants to serve the Lord in any situation. So this answers your question, Prabhu, is what if we want to serve God, we want pleasure from that service? We are still attracted to the pleasure of the service. But we know no other way to get it. Krishna is the only way, so we are going to Krishna for that. But when it changes from I want pleasure from the service to I want to serve Krishna independent of pleasure or pain, then the service is becoming more and more pure. Then the service is becoming more and more selfless. Then the purpose of service is to render service. Why? You just want to render service. What do you get from it? What does a devotee say? If Krishna asks a devotee, what do you want? My Lord, please engage me in your service. What will you get from this service? What this is very nice. We were discussing recently. If somebody asks, nectar of devotion, we were discussing. I don't remember where we were discussing. What do you want from your service? What does a devotee pray? What do you want from your service? Usually we all do some service, right? To the job. We get paid, right? $40-50 an hour we get paid for the service we do. So we do an hour of service to Krishna. Krishna says, so how much do I pay you? What payment do you want? So what do we say? How much do I pay? You are serving me 2 hours pot washing. How much do you want from that? So what do we say? Huh? Engage me in more service. Okay, I give you more service. Now, do you want something in return? What is the pay you want for service? Huh? Continuously, sir. Huh?
Today we are done. Next week next
Once a week only. Huh? Like for now, once a week is good. When capacity increase, we will make it twice a week. For now, once a week. So yeah, we only want service. What do you want in this in respond to your service, my lord? Please keep me engaged all the time. But then Saraswati Thakur asks for a payment. He says, let love be my pay. I'm doing this service. If you want to pay me, let love be my payment for my service to you. Let love be my pay. क्या चाहिए सेवा से? प्रेम चाहिए आपके लिए. Great, right? But If you want service or if you want love, they are synonymous because sign of love is service. When you want to love somebody, you want to serve them. So for him, heaven or hell are the same. Yes, ma'am.
Knowing the situation of this, Narayana Parayana, task has become realized. By the grace of Narayana, a devotee is situated in the most opulent position in the universe. Rascals are immense of Narayana and his devotees, but the devotee endeavors to please another devotee of Narayana because he knows that by pleasing Narayana's respect, respect
Representative.
representative, one directly pleases Lord Narayana. Therefore, the devotee offers the best comforts and facilities to his spiritual master.
Anybody envious of devotees? Raise your hand. Only three people are envious. You're also envious of devotees? Nagmani, you also envious of devotees. Anybody else envious of devotees? Raise your hand. Don't be shy. Envious of devotees. Yeah, there are six rascals. Yeah. What is our heart filled with? I mean, I'm talking about myself. Filled with envy to devotees. Six have realized it. Some may be pure, some may have not realized. And what is the root cause of envy? Huh? False ego. Yeah, enjoyer. I want to be an enjoyer. Why somebody else can enjoy? When I am there, everything, I only want to be the enjoyer, right? Why somebody else to be the enjoyer? And whenever there is a mentality to enjoy, it is coming because of envy. You have envy? So we're working together. Work in progress. Work in progress. Work in progress.
I want to grow in bhakti so that I is also false ego is right?
No,
I
that is good, Mataji. I want to grow in bhakti is good.
like where me consciousness. Me and my I want to be.
Depends upon what you identify I as. If it is on a physical platform, ahankar is element is there. But if you identify I as a soul part and parcel of Krishna who has fallen this material existence and who want to go back to Krishna, then that I is real I. But if the I is I am this body, and but generally when we say I want to grow in bhakti, the inherent conception of that I is I belong to him and I have lost him. And I want to go back to him. So that I is good. I mean, this is my understanding that I is good. Because inherent is spiritual. Any questions? Narayana Parayana. Oh. Initially, I used to distinguish between Krishna and Narayana. But now I don't distinguish. Krishna. Yeah, there is no difference, Mataji. I mean, see, this verse is spoken for Narayan because Chitraketu Maharaj was a devotee of Narayan. So this verse is spoken. He was a devotee of Narayan. So he was cursed. And then Lord Shiva is telling this is a devotee of Narayan. And a devotee of Narayan, na bibyati. Kutashan na bibyati. He does not have any fear wherever he goes. But the same principles apply to a devotee of Krishna. Although, because if you see Bhagavatam, Bhagavatam is full of devotees of Narayan. There are some devotees of Krishna, mostly devotees of Narayan. Whether it is Dhruva, Narayan came. Nashingadev came, who is also a devotee of, he is also Narayan himself in a way. Then Ambarish was a devotee of Narayan. Otherwise, many examples you see in Bhagavatam, devotee of Narayan. But that pure devotion that they have, that a devotee of Krishna will also have.
So God shows in context of Srimad Bhagavatam, that's why
He's taking the principle from Srimad Bhagavatam. That see, this is what Lord Shiva says, and he's explaining. This verse is quoted by Rupa Goswami. That's why this is in the purport. But then this verse, anything in bold, it is spoken by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is quoting Bhagavatam. Like Mukta Nam api Siddha Nam Narayana Parayana Sudhullava Prasantatma Kotish api Mahamuni. Among millions, there is a pure devotee of Narayan. He is Ashanta. Okay, all right. Okay, let's try to finish this verse. I think this may be the last slide. We'll finish by 8. Yes. Inside also, some of the insiders also in the same finish.
Narayana is more envious. But when the devotees Narayana such as such beings, people also come in the same comfortable situation, they do not agree because they cannot give up illicit sex, making intoxication and gambling.
Understood what Prabhupada is saying? They cannot give these things up. That's why they don't like devotees.
Therefore, the method is it replaces the company of the Narayana Parayana. Unfortunately, is envious of the devotee's metal situation. In Western countries, when ordinary men, storekeepers, and workers see other devotees living and eating sumptuously and yet not working, they become very eager to know where they get the money, from where they get the money. Such people become envious and ask, how is it possible to live so comfortably without working? How is it you have so many cars, bright faces, and nice clothes, not knowing that Krishna looks after his devotees? Such people become surprised and some become envious.
That time everybody was like that. So Prabhupada is telling the purport. Yeah, okay, that's all. Shila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Vanchakalpatarubhesya kripa sindhudeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavim Anantakoti Vaishnavim. So if we finish by 8, I think that's good. So 8:30 devotees can depart.
Please cancel.
Right? Snow.
I see.
The luxury actually.
They are enjoying too many holidays.
Huh?
They're enjoying too many holidays nowadays.
So Prabhuji's mother is on Zoom. Thank you very much for joining. Dandavat Pranam. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you very much. Dandavat Pranam. Hare Krishna.